The main topic of my research and my activity is also biofield. And it was absolutely crazy in 20th century. When I was doing it, I was considered as crazy science. But then now it is very well accepted. So by biofield, we understand the complex of fields, different fields, known to us, like electromagnetics, like gravitational, and unknown to us. Because one of the fields, it is our emanation, because we all smell, every dog knows this, and some women as well. And this is a part as well. So my idea from the very beginning to find the way how to study this. And I found this way in system of gas discharge visualization. It's another name, electrophotonic imaging, and biolithography. And it comes from idea of energy field around the body. Because this idea was very well known from ancient times. It was always people who was able to feel it, to read your energy field, and to get some analysis from this. If you look to images of saints, would it be Orthodox, Catholic, would it be Oriental, you see halo around the body. All saints, all holy people, they had this halo. And it was very well known, and it became like part of science due to the family Kirlian. But before, in 18th century, it was Lichtenberg, George Lichtenberg from Germany, who found light coming from different subjects in electromagnetic field. Lichtenberg was a very interesting person. He was one of the person of this Renaissance age. So he was a writer, he was a poet, very interesting books, and he was physicist as well. And it was time when they start studying electricity, trying to understand what does it mean. It was totally enigmatic. So then it became very well known in 19th century, and in particular Tesla, he was one of the many people who did it. And it was found in 19th century that this emanation from human hand change in accordance with your psychological state and with accordance with your health state. So it was many people who was trying to do this research. In Brazil, it was very interesting scientist, but it was totally forgotten in the beginning of 20th century because it was time of turmoil. It was revolutions in society, it was revolution in science, it was total change of all type of life, and this subtle glow was forgotten. But that is why family Kirlian, from little Russian city by the time, Krasnodar, they found this themselves. And they start studying this because Semyon Kirlian, he was electrician and he worked in a hospital. He was a very talented person and he was able to repair anything. And lady bring him some iron, he can repair this. People bring him first TV, he can repair this. In hospital, they have Röntgen system, he can repair this. And he, I'm sorry, yes, thank you. And that's why he was able to see this light when he was repairing some equipment. And he started interested, he started studying this. He began publishing this, and then it was two American scientists, Thelma Morse and Kendall Johnson, who came to Russia in 70s, and they told, oh, we want to see Kirlian. Okay, they came to his laboratory, they published some papers, book, and after this, and that's why it became known in Western countries, known as Kirlian effect. And you see, they had brilliant, beautiful images, wonderful. They were able to see change of psychological state. Some people was trying to do some medical analysis based on this, but it was all photofilm. And we know, in science we have several very strict rules. First of all new discovery, discovered in one laboratory, should be repeated somewhere else. Without this, it's not accepted. It's first topic. Second, if you are measuring something, it should be reproducible. My temperature would be today, tomorrow, day after tomorrow, while I am healthy, it's okay. It's same, practically same, with little variation, of course. If I am ill, then temperature come up or down. So same with any effect. With Kirlian effect, it was impossible because it was very unstable. Different people had different equipment, so it was beautiful, but it wasn't scientific. And that's why we made new step. We transformed from Kirlian photography to computer processing. And our first camera we created in 1995, after several years of very interesting research. And it was named as gas discharge visualization, scientific name, because my first PhD was on studying physical processes under this effect. And so this camera was very popular, became very popular. But in 2016, we produced new camera, BioWell, and this is new stage, because with BioWell we have all software on server, on Amazon server. And this is the most powerful server in the world. So we have unlimited capacity there. We have unlimited capacity of processing data. We can always change something new. We add some new data. We add some new processing system. We can update all our customers simultaneously, as we always do now. So it is totally new stage. No, plus, of course, new electronics, new optics. And we produce a lot of our instruments. So the principle of this analysis is analysis of meridium activity. So we apply very short impulse to our fingers. We get response from the body as photons and electrons. So we stimulate the body and body responses. And you can imagine, if it is open meridium, then we have very full picture, strong picture. If meridium is closed, then very little picture. So it's very simple, like you pump out water. If good source, good pipe, then you have a lot of water. Bad source, bad pipe, you have no water. Same principle here. So that's official name, stimulated electrophotonic emission. And you see, it looks like this in real life. And many different. So it's dynamic process. And of course, you see different beautiful images, but we apply image processing. Because I am a computer scientist, for many years I was professor of computer science in our biggest university in St. Petersburg. And we have image black and white, because it's mostly ultraviolet. Then we process this image and have this beautiful picture, because this picture is not just random. It is a distribution of colors in accordance with frequency. And we have this, based on this frequency picture, we have many information. For example, we can study human fingers like this, or we can study water, for example. And this is A, it is normal water, good water. B, it's the same water after pyramid. And you see it's triangle. And C, it's another pyramid. So it's another funny story. And now let me show you a little video. Okay, so it was just little clip showing our main areas of activity. So we have main topic, this is integrative health. Now it's new line of medicine, integrative medicine, and we are deeply involved in this field. Then response to treatment, training, food, spa, different topics. And you can see here, we have our instrument here, over there, upstairs, before the tunnel, and everybody can be measured before and after, and you will see sport, consciousness study, study of environment, water and material testing. So different topics, and you can find a lot of information in our websites. We have more than 1,000 or even up to 4,000 scientific papers published by different authors, 15 books in many languages, again, by different authors, not only by myself. And you can find a lot on iomap.club, where it's possible to download many papers. And Amazon, you can find my books. So we have our main centers in the United States, in Huesca, Spain, and Narva, Estonia. And in St. Petersburg, we do research. So all activity and all production we have in China now, in Hong Kong. And we have BioWell users worldwide, in practically all continents, in many, many countries. And we are just like a community, because we are not just business people. No, we are like friends with each other. And we meet together from time to time, and we enjoy our time together. And of course, main data in medicine. In medicine, in data interpretation, we use the principle of traditional Chinese medicine, the principle of meridians, Ayurvedic medicine, chakras, and Western medicine, systems, organs, and image and statistical processing. So we make like a bridge between our Western science, Western traditional medicine, and ancient Oriental wisdom. And of course, this is traditional Chinese means for us it's main topic for understanding. And we have two types of analysis. So visual, when people look to the pictures and they understand, having some experience, what does it mean. Or statistical, analytical. And we combine both together. And we use, of course, artificial networks now to process data. And we are based on this table. This table was created not only by myself, but many other scientists, and it was clinically verified. So if it shows us some correlation, for example, ring finger, it's genital system, then it is very strong database of hundreds of women. It was shown that this ring finger light coming from ring finger, it is correlated with blood circulation in womb area for women. For men, of course, different story. So that's why we take images of all 10 fingers, one by one, or sometimes simultaneously, and we create those images of energy field. Of course, this is just image, but it is very informative image, because it shows us what is good, what is bad. And for trained people, it is a lot of information. Plus, we present graphs, different data, and we collect more than about 35 different parameters, not correlated parameters, to make statistical analysis. And we have a lot of clinical studies, you see, in many universities of Russia, top-level universities, St. Petersburg, Moscow, Novosibirsk, in other countries, for example, National Institute of Health in the United States, some universities are American, French, German, so now it's worldwide. And we have many papers where different authors made review of published papers. So it's not me, it's not our team. It was just different people from different countries. And you see, it was very interesting that it was amount of publications. You see, it's coming from 1950, when we just only beginning, and then it's coming up, up, up. So it was Kirlian effect, and then 2000 it started GDV, and 2000 immediately up, and then in last 8 years it was even huge increase. So now they was able to find practically 5,000 publications. And it's only in medicine and psychology, plus sport, plus this, so plenty. And as I've told you, you look to Amazon, you see my books on different languages. And the latest book, The Principle of Biofield Analysis, now it is in English, French, Spanish, Portuguese, Russian. Soon we translate it to German, and so I hope that one day to other languages as well. I hope so. And to Jewish, to the Hebrew as well. So our main principle of medical analysis, based on analysis of endocrine system, then digestive tract, sympathetic parasympathetic balance, and very important, we pay attention to stress. Because stress is the main killer of the modern population. It's the most main danger of our life. That is why we measure stress in numbers from 0 to 10, and we can define what type of stress it is, where it is coming. And we can distinguish between emotional energy field and physical energy field. So we have special filters for this. And it was many attempts to compare GDV biofield with classical measurements. And in all clinical studies, it shows correlation between 80 to 95%, depending on the type. So we claim that we have 80% of correlation of our data with classical measurements. And we have very clear vision. This is strong, healthy field, you see. And what does it mean? It's your protective shield. It's like a very good protection around yourself. If you have it like this, no virus, no COVID, nothing. You are strong, you are protected. Because it is, we have very high correlation with the immune system. And of course, we are measuring stress level, energy, and you see, it's all in optimal zone, because it should be in optimal zone. When it is too high or too low, it's not very good. We have different parameters of balance, different parameters, and chakras. You see, ideal chakras. So this is really ideal person. We have health problems, and you see a difference. It is strong field, yes, but different outbursts. And this indication of zones that need attention. And you see in this case, stress level is high, quite high. Energy optimal, in optimal zone, but sympathetic parasympathetic balance is not so good. And we can define it, and you see chakras, again, they are shifted. Chakras, they reflect psychological state. And it's clear for this particular case that stress level high because of this psychological attitude. Okay, so it may be like this. And stress, of course, is totally different. Stress, it's a weak energy field. What does it mean? Holes. Holes in your protection. Then anybody can interfere. It may be virus, it may be bacteria, it may be bad person, it may be electromagnetic field, whatever. So with this field, with so many breaks and holes, it is open. It's open to anything. And of course, level of stress is very high, energy is low, it's typical. Diagram, it looks like, we name it the butterfly-like. And of course, chakras, they are everywhere. So they are dispersed. So that is absolutely clear. This is stress, very typical. And of course, it is one of the power of the system to see response to any subtle treatment. You know that in this quantum integrative medicine, we use different fields. We use electromagnetic field, magnetic field, light, sound, different types. But it is subtle influence. It's not like a pill. You take a pill, oh, I've no pain. It's okay, good. But side effect somewhere over there. With integrative medicine, it's different. We apply this influence, this field, but you don't feel immediately what's going on. And even more than that, different people can respond differently. For example, homeopathy. I like homeopathy, but it's not for everybody. Our child responds to homeopathy excellent. Myself, not at all. I don't respond to this. So it means different people respond differently. And with our technology, it's very easy to see. Before, after, before tunnel, after tunnel. Oh, very good effect immediately. And they can explain you what. Or a bright light device before, after. You see, again. Or 15 minutes talk on mobile phone. You see. Very clear effect. And we have a lot of data of this kind. Again, it's not for everybody. Would we, all of us, respond like this, we would be dead. And all human population would be dead. But no, of course not. That is why. If you have strong field, you are protected. I don't respond at all to mobile phone. But I don't keep it neither here nor here, because I like some organs. So that's why it's better to keep it over there. This is special protection created by nature for us. So again, it's different response for different people, but it is really exist. Now we have huge increase of oncology and cancer of brain, huge increase, tremendous increase, like an epidemic, and even for children. Because we understand if you keep this nearby your head, some people, they have brain inside. And of course, this brain may be overheated. And I have papers with big study because, and we use some quantum resonance technology to protect against this. So now we know we have many technologies how to protect yourself against the electromagnetic field. For example, we use shungite, very popular in Russia. And so we have side and effect. And of course, influence of osteopathy. Again, we have big paper on this. And it was very interesting studies, just glimpses, because we have, as I've told, hundreds of different studies, just glimpses. It was very interesting study. You can imagine, pregnant lady. And in the morning, she takes measurement only from 2 fingers. Click, click, that's it. And we define the level of stress and the level of energy. And we follow this day by day. And then program tells you, okay, today everything's fine, green light. You do whatever you want. Next day, oh, we are sorry, lady, but yellow light, please stay at home, don't go to dances. Or next day, red light, okay, call your doctor, please. And you see, it takes seconds, but it works very well. Another, always people ask about cancer study. We have these cancer studies from 2098 in different places, in different universities, oncology centers, in different countries, and a lot of papers published. And it was absolutely clear. So you see, this box down, this is statistics of apparently healthy ladies. Then upper box, this is ladies with cancer, breast cancer. You see, energy is much higher. Why? Because any inflammation is increase of energy. We increase temperature, we increase release of hormones, of different particles, blood particles. So and this is all energy. So to be unhealthy, you need much more energy than to be healthy. So you need to understand this. And of course, body should have resources. That's why in any disease we have these stages. First stage when system is fighting against, then when your resource is depleted, then it's coming down. So that's why cancer people, they have much higher energy, of course in particular zones, not everywhere. And then next below, this is after treatment, after first treatment. And then we had very big study with colon cancer, and all processing was done using artificial intelligence system. And it was shown that we have many parameters we take into account, It is quite complicated, but it was shown that probability of sensitivity and specificity about 80%. And it's really very high. Because, you know, of course it's possible to make colonoscopy, but who would like it? It's very unpleasant, it's very, you need anesthesia, you need to prepare for several days, so it's very bad. Plus you need to pay money, of course, for this. And here, you see, click, 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 and that's it. And system can tell you whether it is some danger, or you should go to colonoscopy, or everything's fine. So that is very interesting. Same approach was used for arterial hypertension, and again, it was possible to define not only different stages of arterial hypertension, but danger of heart problems. And you know, arterial hypertension is a huge problem for society, huge. Many people, they have high blood pressure, but they don't know about this. Another, of course, is diabetes, again. So people don't know that they have it. And here again, very easy analysis, very easy measurement, artificial intelligence, and then we have it. So, grouping from cardiovascular complications. So you see, it many studies of this type done in many countries now, in Japan, China, India, Ukraine, Germany, France. So a lot of studies that demonstrate the power of this approach in medicine. And it's not only diagnostics, analysis. We have special device for not treatment, but stress relief. So we are measuring energy field. What does it mean? We're measuring frequency. Based on this frequency, we create music. And it's your individual music modulated by your own frequency. We apply this music to a little device. The name is device of BioCore. And people have earphones with music and special sensor that sends gigahertz frequency, modulated by your own frequency. So it's based on big research in Soviet Union, Russia, of the use of this gigahertz frequency for treatment, and it's medical technology in Russia. We applied this in this field, and after some time, after 10 minutes, it is total transformation. So we have now thousands of devices on the market. People use it, excellent results. We have research done, paper published. So it is really very good, and we have effect before and after, you see. We have papers published on this topic, so it's really very interesting and very powerful. Another very interesting approach, it is method of selection of supplements or medications. Because you know, you go to the special pharmacy and you see rows and rows of supplements. Do you need it or don't? Who knows? Nobody knows. And this method allows us very easily select supplements or to find out, for example, dangerous allergens for people without swallowing this. So what we do, you take some supplement, medicine, whatever, allergen, whatever, and you apply it to your heart chakra. And we take measurements from other hand. Then we repeat with the other hand, and this way we can measure stress level and energy level. Of course, first we measure it initially several times to see how stable is it, how repeatable is this, and then we take measurements and we see, okay, and you see this first upper line, this is initial stress. Next, it is response to one medication, I don't remember which it is, doesn't matter, and you see it's very bad response. So it's clear that it's not for you. Next, it's practically no response next to, then blue one, again, very bad response, and the last one, it's okay. So you see it's very clear, it's much more different medications, so we can test up to 10 different medications in one session. then you need to make some breaks for maybe 20 minutes, and then you can repeat with other. And this approach been developed by our dear friend and colleague from the United States. He's top endocrinologist in the United States, Dr. Michael Borkin, and he tested this for his thousands of patients, and he confirmed it, and now we have it in use for everybody. So another approach that we use, this is dynamic analysis of water. This is very interesting line. We use different sensors, and they use for different applications, and we have excellent results. For example, this was done by American team from Arizona University to study homeopathy remedies. And it was shown that we can define initial solution and define very high potential below Avogadro number of homeopathy solutions. So it is absolutely clear, and we have hundreds of experiments of this kind. Then this is another big research project with, I was consulting for Estée Lauder companies, Aveda companies in the United States for many years, and we tested natural and synthetic essential oils, because you know that mostly they use synthetics. It's quite cheap. But some companies, they use natural, and they claim it's totally no difference. But in reality, there are difference, real difference. And some people can feel it, but we prove it in our measurements. And of course, now we use a lot of structured waters. Last time I tested this water from Pyramid and from tunnels, it's structured for sure. We tested this. And you see, 1 glass of structured water, before, after, very clear effect. And I have a book, The Emerging Science of Water, where, together with my dear friend and colleague, we presented the main modern ideas of water science, including quantum concept, quantum theory, based on quantum electrodynamics developed by our dear friend Emilio Del Giudice from Italy. Unfortunately, he passed away. And different experiments, different ideas, and every year practically we have big congress on water science. Now it will be in October in Portugal, and there we meet together and we exchange these ideas. Next topic, those are consciousness study. It's my favorite, and let me show you maybe.
Can humans find a time when they will allow space for what they don't believe is possible?
For 300 years, science has asked the question, is there a field of energy that connects everything?
Where do our thoughts go when we die?
Someday, there will be inventions in physics, and when they do, you'll see that consciousness is energy. What human beings think collectively can be measured.
You have hundreds of thousands of molecules. They can exchange vibrations all over around the field. This is chemistry, but it's a kind of dancing chemistry.
In consciousness, we can communicate and perceive anywhere throughout the entire universe.
Energy increased dramatically.
Distance does not matter.
The field is the origin of everything.
What is a thought? Thought is a particle of light. We can measure it.
Our thoughts are broadcast to the field.
What happens in one part of the field influences other parts of the field in the same instant. And this is deeply profound.
So this is, yes, thank you. So this is a part of a film under the name The Field, or Field 1. And I was very active in this field, in this movie. doing different experiments, commenting everything. And because but it's only one part of our research in consciousness. We have influence to physical sensors, and it has long history, because in Soviet time I was one of the leaders of the project studying telepathic communication with submarines and satellites. And we had big laboratory with unlimited resources, and it was top secret, of course. But now this country doesn't exist, so I can tell. And finally, after several years, we were able to develop really very good way of telepathic communication. And for example, I use it when I need it. For example, when I need to call someone, I hate to call. It's press buttons, it's busy line. So I ask people to call me, and they call me. Sometimes even they come and they meet me. It's very funny at all. But anyway, so, but it was found that to use people for telepathy, for practical purpose, it's very unpractical, because you need to have someone sitting on, for example, submarine, and it's usually a nightmare to sit there. And at some moment they should meditate, and then we can exchange information. So I developed an approach to use physical sensors. And I developed different physical sensors based on different physical effects. And finally we came to final effect, final sensor that we use now, and I will show it later. Then consciousness influence to water as well. We use water sensors that we have to see this, detect this. Influence of people to each other. That's easy, of course, but it's very interesting. Telepathy, direct vision. So we've been studying training, mental training, when they teach children to see without eyes, blind children to see. And it was very good training. It is. Energy of active zones, like we do here, and it will be next topic of our discussion. Influence of active zones to people, again, because we have geo-positive zones and geo-negative zones. And of course, effect may be different. Sometimes it may be very dangerous. And energy transformation after death. It's another story. I had big research. I had a book on this topic, so, but it's interesting. So I was lucky to meet top-level healers in the world. First, it was in Russia. Those are people who, for some time, it was well known in Russia. They were top. Chumak was on prime TV on TV, because it was KGB project to see whether it's possible to influence people at the distance. And it was selected two people, Chumak and Kashpirovsky, and both of them had prime time on TV, and Chumak was just sitting, looking to you. And he told, okay, please put water, put something, and I will charge it. And it really worked. And then we became friends with him and did many experiments with him. This is, I would say, Rasputin, Kremlin Rasputin. Because this lady, she's tremendously strong. She was, of course, tremendously powerful. And she kept Brezhnev, our former president, for a long time alive. She kept him. Finally, once we've been together in Sri Lanka at a big conference, and she came in total general scale. So she was given the rank of general of medicine, official rank. Yes. So, and water intention experiments we did with Lynn McTaggart. She's a brilliant lady from London. And what she did, she was organizing many people by internet. An idea that was, all those people, at some moment, they had to send their intention to some particular place, to our laboratory, to laboratory of Dean Radin, maybe to some other laboratories. And we had many experiments with her of this type. And you can imagine, look, this is a dynamic signal that we record from water. So we take recording, of course, with our instrument, with time, dynamic. And this is typical, some variations, but stable. And then people send intention. Look, this is how signal transform. This is very typical. This may be this way, or it may be that way. So positive effect, negative effect, depending on your attitude. That's why I always tell, if you prepare food, please make it with love. Because we know many cases when husband died because of the food of their wives. So that's very important. And it was very interesting experiment that we did once with one very strong killer. And we had 5 bottles in our laboratory labeled with different colors. And we put them in the morning, and then at midday we did analysis. And he was supposed to send intention from Japan to some particular label. And you see, if you look to this graph, you see all those graphs, they are quite flat, but one graph coming up, you see this. So this was particular water, you see 5 bottles, but only one was influenced. And from 10 experiments that we did with him, 7 was really successful. In 3 we didn't have any effect, but it's very good. Now, our main instrument for consciousness, this is sensor. It was named Sputnik by our American friends because it looks like old Russian Sputnik. And we have a lot of data. We have this site where we publish data, maybe not all, but some. And we have areas of application, so energy of negative and positive zones, historical places, environmental, houses, apartments, places, meditation, influence of different devices. So it's all we can do with this sensor. And we have, of course, many papers published in different, but I will discuss about Sputnik later on. So in sport, for many years, 20 plus years, I work in the Research Institute of Physical Culture and Sport in St. Petersburg. We have 2 research institutes in our Ministry of Sport, one in Moscow, one in St. Petersburg. And we do a lot of research. We work with all Olympic and Paralympic teams of Russia. We create technology, we use different technology, and BioWell is accepted as one of the key technology for Olympic Paralympic sport. And you see, because, look, red dots, those are Olympic champions. This is graph in multidimensional space. Green dots, those are very high level athletes, high level. Blue dots, those are losers. So, just by measuring parameters of person and following these parameters in time, we can define what condition in this particular moment, what's predisposition for competition, what should be done during training process, should be, for example, maybe half a day or 1 day of rest, or most adaptation, because very often our teams, they go to the mountains, you know, for training, and then it's adaptation time period, so it's very complicated. And it's very high correlation between their performance and our measurement. So it was for hockey team in competition, and it was many games, and we was able to see very high correlation, because it's possible to define a performance of a hockey player. They calculate how many times he had goals, how many times he did change, and so on. And of course we have many papers published. Now we have many instruments. BioWell is our current instrument. We have this element, this device. It is to study, for example, plants, minerals, crystals, water, cats, dogs, for many applications. It has separate program, different principle, and it's very, very interesting and very efficient, and we put it on production, on sale in October. This device, maybe you've seen, I did measurements here with this device, BioWell Mini. This operates with mobile phone, and it is designed for public, for wide use. It has limited programs. We don't give information about health issues, no organs, no systems, because it's too complicated for people. But you can measure your energy field, your chakras, your stress level, your energy level, and you can follow up this day by day. Or you can do it for all your family and see what's going on. And if you have some doctor who is using BioWell, he can see your analysis and he can make analysis, full analysis. So this is some of the books. And now let's talk about Sputnik. Now we switch to this topic. The principle of operation of Sputnik, we have Tesla coil, resonance coil, and the second coil is open. So that's why this part of the coil connected to this sensor. And we apply very short electromagnetic impulses, about microseconds, and this emits standing electromagnetic waves in space. So then we have signal that we measure that depends on distribution of those waves in space. And you can imagine, if we have, for example, here we have open space, but we have people around. And people, those are conductive subjects. We all conductive, but different. Different people have different conductivity. And of course, signal will change. If it's one person or many people. If we, for example, let's start meditating, what does it mean? We change our autonomic nervous system, sympathetic parasympathetic balance. And it changes capillary distribution of the skin. And this change our conductivity. So this is physical explanation. It's very good explanation, it's accepted by physicists, by biologists, but of course it's only part of the story. I will tell you later. And we are dependent on humidity. That's why we use this special system of calibration. We use metal cylinder, and the idea that this metal cylinder standard, it has no emotions, his physical state is always same, and it should have same parameters worldwide. That's why we measure parameter of this cylinder here. We send it to server. Server compare this on special algorithm with standard, and server sends signal to change parameter of the device. So it's like this. And this way we can measure in different parts of the world, in Hong Kong with 70% humidity, in Colorado 15% humidity, high altitude, sea level, and we have same results for people. So it is a very important topic. And we depend on humidity, that's why we produce special sensor to measure humidity. And we, of course, very interesting topic, those are energy active zones. You know that our Earth, it's not just stable system. It has tremendous influence from everywhere. From sun, from universe, not only sun. We always move through different cosmic rays, cosmic flows, different energy fields in cosmos. So, and it has all influence to our Earth. Plus, many processes inside the Earth. We don't know yet what's going on there. We have some ideas, concepts, but don't believe it. Nobody knows. So something is going on inside. That's why we have our gravitation force. That's why we have magnetic field. But why? Nobody knows. It's only ideas. And you know, even the gravitation is not same all over the Earth. There are some areas. For example, in Indian Ocean, it's one area. There are huge area, about 200 kilometers, where the level of ocean about 20 meters below the level of ocean in other parts of the world. You can imagine. So it's same ocean, but like a big gap, a hole. Different gravitation. And I can tell you very funny stories, maybe later. So, so we are influenced by moon cycle, solar eclipses, strong changes of weather, earthquakes, electromagnetic environment, and all we can detect with this sensor. We have many experiments of this kind. In sun eclipse, one it was very big sun eclipse in Novosibirsk, Siberia, And we had about 16 sensors, GDV, in different areas. And all the sensors was able to detect very high variations before sun eclipse and very stable signal after. So all of them had very similar effect. Same results was later reproduced in the United States when they had very strong solar eclipse. Then very interesting experiments I did in many churches. For example, in this church, we have icon presented to Russia by Byzantine Tsars in 14th century. And I was able to take measurement nearby this icon during sermon. Then I did measurements at different cemeteries in Moscow, and it was very clear effect. You see, in the church signal was very stable, very calm. In cemeteries it was very high variations. And we have clear understanding what is good for health and what is bad. It is good when you have some stable parameters, but not very stable. When it's very stable, it's not very good as well. But when you have high variations, it's very bad for people. That's why, there are many stories when people spend night at the cemetery, they have different visions. And then, of course, we understand spirits coming, because it's their place, not for humans. It was clear confirmation. We had many ceremonies with Matsara Imota. He was our dear friend. We spent many time together. He was in our home in St. Petersburg several times. And we were able to detect all the moments of his ceremony, very clear. Then it was very interesting in Colombia. In mountains of Sierra Nevada, they have tribes of Indians that live same life as they did for thousands of years. So they were lucky, because in those mountains there are no oil, no diamond, no gold, nothing. So Spaniards was coming there, nothing there, and far away from everything, high in the mountains, and they left them alone. It was, of course, some little church, monk, but then he was expelled. And they don't have communication with environment, with society. They have mobile phones, they use it, but they have guards. They don't allow visitors to come there. I was invited together with my friends. We came there, we did many measurements, and energy in this place was ideal, really ideal. Because, you see, they have beautiful weather, practically same temperature all the year round. They are near the equator. They have a lot of springs. Of course, we go along the forest, something, please eat this. It's there. So they put something stick in the ground, it grows up. So they have beautiful, and you see their clothes, they do themselves. But they have temple, and they claim that they came from stars. And they claim that their elders communicate with stars, with other beings. And I done measurements in this on the stone where they have this communication. And you see, everywhere very stable signal, but at the stone, very high variation. So it was very interesting effect as well. Of course, crop circles. I did measurement of this crop circle together with a group of British scientists, and this signal outside of crop circle. Of course, initial. And then this is a signal inside of crop circle, you see. So big difference. And I think that it's a part of cycle as well. Of course, I was able to take measurement only for some time, but I believe that crop circles, of course, it's a special story. If we have time, I can talk about this, but then it's another story. But now let's move to pyramids, because this is our topic. And this is a special topic of my presentation, let's say first part, yes? So, you know that in Teotihuacan, this is one of the biggest complex in the world, pyramidal complex. And scientists have very unstable idea where it came from which civilization, because it was long before the Aztec, long, many centuries before the Aztecs. But it's fantastic complex, and you can go there, it's very well kept, you can climb any pyramid, you can take measurements, and interesting, just recently, it was found tunnels under pyramids. They were found at random because it was a crack, earthquake, and they found hole. They came and see tunnel. And in the beginning, of course, it was archaeologists coming there, and they were intended to study this, but they found that it's a lot of radon coming from this tunnel. And you know, it's radioactive gas, very dangerous. So they had to put special pump, and for half a year, they pumped out this radon. Because all, and I was invited there by top archaeologist, Dr. Gomez, and he made this excursion over there. We came there in those tunnels, and all this beautiful, beautiful tunnel, beautiful. And it looks like they have, it's very well done now, very well kept. And this, like, all with crystals, all those crystals, they are radioactive. Not very strong, but they are radioactive. But it's beautiful. And all this tunnel was kept, was filled with earth, all the tunnel. So it was totally closed. So it took them several years to take off all the earth. They found many old artifacts, like shells, like different clay subjects, statues. But it was, and of course it was dated about 2,000 years. But it's clear, these tunnels existed much more than that time. 2,000 years ago, they filled it. Why? We don't know why, because they were, why they filled these tunnels? Same principle. And of course I came there, I did measurements there, and you see, this is energy. First it is in the hotel, then it is Moon Pyramid, Quetzalcoatl Pyramid, Sun Pyramid, for its Quetzalcoatl, and 5, 6 those are tunnels. So you see, energy in the tunnels much lower than energy on the pyramid, but energy of pyramids, they are much higher than outside. So it is another confirmation. Then I was using this, and we came to Mexico, because Mexico is a country of pyramids. And it was many different civilizations in Mexico. The oldest, maybe it was Olmecas, and we have only huge heads, stone heads from Olmecas, nothing else. But huge civilization of Maya, fantastic civilization, really fantastic. Then, of course, in Teotihuacan, Toltecs, Zapotecs, Aztecs. And what we did with my wife and some friends, we did a journey from Mexico City, more than 3,000 kilometers, to the end, to this Cancun area. And we had a car with a driver, and we stopped on the way in different places. It took us 10 days or something of this kind. So because we were able to come to all interesting places and to study this, to take measurements. They are very well kept in Mexico, very well. Mexico is a fantastic country, it's one of my favorites. I love it. They have wonderful culture, they have wonderful food, very good wines. It's quite safe if you know what to do, if you understand what you do, if you're not crazy. If you're crazy, of course, you are not safe anywhere. We did measurements on the way. So Toltec civilization, it was one of the most enigmatic and interesting, you see. And we came to Monte Alban. This is their ancient city. Now it is open for public. It's high altitude, it's high elevation. And there I was able to take measurements, of course. Yeah. Then Mayan civilization. And Mayan civilization, it was one of the top of our human development, because they created thousands of cities, as we know now. With leader technology, it was possible to find a lot of their cities. They created big temples, huge constructions, but then this civilization died out. Why? Nobody knows. But now the main idea that they died because of the drought, because of lack of water. This civilization was based on synods. You see, synod, it's huge hole in the ground, like this, with fresh water. Now it's very good to go there, to swim in this water. It's beautiful, but it's fresh water. But if there are no rain, this water slowly substituted by ocean water. Because underground there are tunnels that connect all the synods with ocean. Now there are very interesting excursions you can take. If you have balloons, you can go with balloons along these tunnels, or even snorkeling, you can go there. So it's very interesting as well. So that's why you understand, no rain, no fresh water, slowly it is substituted with salt water. So bad for life, bad for agriculture. And that's why this is the main concept now, why this civilization died. But they left us amazing places, amazing. You can go there, and it's all very well kept. You can walk there, you can look there. This is, for example, their playing ground. So two teams was playing with each other with very heavy balls, without using hands and legs. So only elbows and knees. How they did it, I can't imagine. And in Mayan civilization, they just win and lose. But in later on, in Aztec civilization, all team who lost, they were just killed, sacrificed, of course. Then Uxmal, again, huge pyramid. But here, of course, it's impossible to climb this pyramid. It's forbidden. Chichen Itza, mostly known. And you see, I did measurements everywhere. And look, blue graphs, those are hotels outside. Red, those are measurements in different places of this territory. And you see, in all those temples, we have very high energy just nearby pyramid. And if you pay attention, so some columns is below, much lower. This is somewhere outside. So on the same territory, but outside of pyramid. So it is absolutely clear. It is the effect of pyramid. Of different pyramids, we had this effect. Then we came to Belize. It's a little country between Mexico and Guatemala. And it's former British colony, so they speak English. There are mostly African slaves, former African slaves living there. But it's fantastic country, fantastic. They have second biggest in the world coral reef. So swimming there, we like it. It is amazing, amazing. They have mountains, they have waterfalls, and they have rivers, and they have a lot of ancient Mayan constructions. So they have pyramids, you see with very interesting glyphs over there. It's very well preserved. So this stone, but now it's covered with very thin plastic. So you can touch it and you would not destroy it. That's special French technology they use. And you can go up there to the top of pyramid. So it's beautiful. You see different type of carvings, different pyramids. And I was able to do measurements at different places. And same story. In resort, one energy. All their pyramids, they much higher energy, much higher. So big difference. And here I was able to take measurements at the top, down, so it was really big difference everywhere. So it is absolutely clear that in South America, in Mesoamerica, all their pyramids, it was not just tombs, and it is not tombs. So let's go on, Egypt. We had big expedition in Egypt this year, with a group of friends, and we came through Nile on board. We've been, of course, to Cairo, but you see, Egypt, from the point of view of science, it is dreadful country, dreadful. They don't allow you to do any measurements. It's totally forbidden. When you go to any site, it's X-ray, and they check all your luggage. You've seen my little instrument, you've seen it. And they ask, oh, what is it? It's not allowed. You say, I'm sorry, it's for to take cardiogram. I need to take my cardiogram every 2 hours. Do you want me to die nearby your pyramid? No, 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 please go. So this way I was able to bring my instruments, and then we were hiding somewhere with my friends, and we were doing measurements, but not nearby Giza pyramid, because in Giza they had Guad coming after me, like this. So it was impossible. But we were lucky. We came to Sphinx early morning, only our group. It was private tour, and we were able to take measurements. Then, of course, we came inside King Chamber at night, but there our two guides told, please don't do measurements, please, because if it will be published somewhere, if it will be known, we'll lose our license. So please don't do this. But I was able to do measurements in different fun, wonderful places with my friend, dear friend, you see. And you see again, this one, it is Cairo Hotel. This 2, 3, 4, it is nearby Sphinx. 5, it is Luxor Hotel. And 6, 9, it is Hathor Temple. And 10, it is Luxor Temple. You see again, big difference, huge difference. So it is absolutely clear that all those places, they have very high energy. This is from the board. Again, we've been measuring on the board, and board was standing just nearby. So all the complex is nearby. So second, this is Temple of Horus. Third is Omba Temple. 4 again board, and then Aswan. You see, it was very high energy in Aswan. Please pay attention to numbers, 4.9, 4.8. I will tell you why. We'll refer to this later. So, why Aswan? You know that in Egypt, a lot of big sarcophags, statues, they done from Aswan granite. They have other places to get granite, just much nearer to Cairo, but they took it from Aswan, they carried it through Nile by boats, and they used it. I will show you later some interesting topics. So it means those granite has very special property, energy property. And later on I will show you electrical properties. Because after coming back from boat trip, we came to Saqqara. Frankly speaking, I didn't know about this Saqqara place. We just came there, and I was really stunned. Because there, they have the oldest pyramid in the world. The oldest. They have 2 other pyramids. They're a little bit lower than Giza pyramids, but there you can go inside. It's very complicated. It's very narrow tunnel, very steep, and you need to crawl. Of course, they have ladders, they have light, but still, it's not for everybody. But you can go inside. And when you come inside, you see huge, huge hole inside. And you are coming inside, and you in big hole, about 40 meters high, very deep, and at the bottom, there are big stone block from granite. It's just a block. It has nothing to do with mummies, with tomb. No, it's just a block. It's one topic. Another topic, you come out from the pyramid, you climb to the air, you come maybe 50 meters, and it's another hole like this, open. Again, about 40 meters down, and huge block at the bottom. Why? Then there are serapeum. Serapeum, it is totally fantastic. This is, it was found in 19th century, just at random because it was totally covered by sand. And then it was excavated, and it's a tunnel about 500 meters. Very high ceiling, big walls. You can imagine with chisel, with simple instrument, it's impossible to make it. Impossible, 500 meters. And very well done. But even more than that, you see how it looks. This tunnel has cameras, 16 cameras. And in every camera, there are huge granite box. It's not a sarcophagus. All these boxes, they are empty. And some boxes was closed. They were opened by archaeologists, empty. No robbers were there, because typically when it's robbed, they leave something out. No, nothing. You see, they are quite huge. The weight of the box is about 40 tons. The weight of the lid, about 10 tons. And you see. And they are all from S1 granite. And you know, I do measurements with my device, because in soccer nobody pay attention. You can measure whatever you want. Nobody follows you. But in this tunnel, I was unable to take any measurement. I check my equipment. Everything should be okay. So I see light on my device. On the phone I see program, but no signal. It means, what does it mean? Bluetooth signal was totally blocked. For us, it is normal to have this system to suppress electromagnetic field. We know this. In military, in security, they use it every day. But it is special device. There, only granite blocks. No devices. And my friend, he was doing, he was a cameraman, he was doing, again, this shooting, and his microphone operates on Bluetooth. So in this SAPROM, it was no signal at all, no voice. So again, Bluetooth was totally blocked. And around the pyramids, in some places, again, Bluetooth signal was totally blocked. Just in this soccer place. So I have no explanations, maybe some engineers can help, but it looks very much what we did today. Yes, very much same. And look, this is a graph. One, it is bus stop, and 2, 3, this is nearby Red Pyramid and Bent Pyramid. And you see, big difference, huge difference. Then we came there next day, and we were able to spend the whole day doing different measurements, and again, very clear difference. We were able to take measurements in different parts of the pyramid, like around the pyramid, but you see, the highest signal, it was inside, deep inside. If maybe you paid attention to my measurements with Teotihuacan tunnels, their signal was quite low. And there was very unpleasant to be inside. My Irina, she came there and she thought, no, I can't. And she came out. And she came to drink beer. To the wine, red wine, yes. It is local restaurant. But here, when you are inside of these pyramids, it is very nice. You feel very nice being inside. And you see very high signal as well. So, of course, we need to ask, what is it? Because, of course, now the archaeologists tell you, okay, it was thousands of slaves, they cut it granite, they carried it along the Nile, they took it by river. Okay, very good. 1 million blocks, only in Cheops pyramid, 1 million. Weighting from 2 tons to 40 tons. Just carrying by, but they have 147 pyramids all over the Egypt only. You can calculate one to another, and all those pyramids was created only by the latest dynasty. Later on, technology was totally lost. So, what technologies they had? Anti-gravity? Yes. And was proven. If you go to Florida, you can see Coral Castle. This was done by one guy, little guy. He came to United States from Lithuania. He had love in Lithuania, it was lost, and all his life he decided to make a monument for his love. And he was cutting huge blocks from 2 to 10 tons, and he was carrying them by this, like this, only by night. And when he was asked how you do this, he told, okay, I developed a new concept of physics. That's why I came to understanding how to do this. But I don't want to present it to humankind, it's too dangerous. Humankind is not ready yet. And he created this huge, huge complex himself, carrying those blocks about 25 kilometers or even more from the shaft. And it is there. You can go there and have a look. So it is documented. So it's documented that it is possible, that anti-gravity and special way how to cut stones with your mind, because he didn't have any tools, only his brain. But of course, we wait for next genius like Einstein, next Einstein, to give us this technology. Maybe humankind will be ready, finally. Okay, so now let's finally transform to Bosnian Pyramids. It's our, I would say, main topic. Okay, so first I came to here in 2017. Sam invited me, and it was from this very beginning. It was clear that those are pyramids. It's not just. And by that time it's dreadful weather. It was hurricane, raining all the time.
Did you make him invite you?
No. It was he is genius. So he takes information, he reads information from the energy field, so from informational field. So he got me from there. And I was able to take measurements over there, in tunnels, in different places. And you see, one, it is in the hotel, Visoko. Two, it is top of Sun Pyramid. Then foot of Sun Pyramid, again very high signal. Top of the Moon Pyramid, foot of the Moon Pyramid, and tunnels, 2 tunnels. Again, so you see in tunnels, very high energy, and you know that you feel wonderful. Now, this year, we are together, and as you've seen, I do measurements all the time, or every day, and again, you see, this is measurement at home, just nearby here, then in Belvedere, green points, and then different Sun Pyramid points. So it is absolutely, with Sun Pyramid, you come step by step and you have high and high energy. I was able to climb this pyramid, not to use the car to go there, but to climb. It's very steep, it's not for people, of course. It's only for crazy people to go there. It's a steep, very steep pass. But I was able to take measurements on the way. And you see, this is, it looks like this. And the highest was at the top, 4.28. At the beam spot, I measured lower signal. I don't know why, but it was, you see, about 4, but a little bit lower. Then next day, we came all together to Tumulus. And again, you see, very high energy just at the top. And it was very good idea. One person from our group, he told me, oh, but it would be interesting to take measurements at the other hill. You know that Tumulus and other hill, same height, same level, just 50 meters. And I came there. I was lucky because it's private territory, but nobody was there. And I did measurement there. You see, look, huge difference. So it means that Tumulus, it is a real special complex. And we discuss later what does it mean. And you see it's very high energy everywhere. Even at the bottom of Tumulus, it's very high energy. And today, we came together to Moon Pyramid, but it's a totally different story. Again, I was able to climb this on narrow pass, God pass. I don't suggest you to go there. It's dreadful. And look, all the numbers are quite high. You see energy in 4. Because I believe that this tumulus, it's not just at random. Sam told us that there are tunnels under tumulus. So I believe that this place where they have billboards, and Sam did first explanation, that may be a special energy place because of the tunnels or because of something else. Same with Moon Pyramid. At the bottom, but not bottom, of course, it was the first trench. It's not really bottom. Again, very high energy, even a little bit higher than at the top. At the top, the highest energy was in the forest, because we all was sitting together in the central place. But if you go to the forest, and as I came from other side, I was able to pass it. There are other little excavation that Sam did, and in this place it was really the highest energy. That's why next time it would be interesting to take measurements in different places of this, because you see, in principle, moon top, it's not just a top; it's a big area. Yes, and we understand that in this area there are different energy spots. So, of course, I was able to take only some 3 spots, but still, it's very interesting. And you see, in trenches, so high energy. So we discuss and we believe that Moon Pyramid, it's a whole complex with from bottom up to the top. And it's, of course, artificial. And we don't know whether it's all artificial or it's just covered, because now it's Sam was unable to buy all this pyramid yet. It's in the future, next step. And of course, all these tunnels and pyramids, they have high influence to people. This is analysis of 50 people, level of stress before, after, energy before, after, chakras before, after, you see. And the question, who created pyramids and what for? So the big question. Now I switch to next part, but it's related to what we done. It is Peruvian wonders. You know that Peru, it is a fantastic country. I've been there many times, and I love this country because it has mountains, it has jungles, rivers, cities, ocean, beautiful. And it was a country of top-level civilization, top-level. And this civilization was, they had really huge territory, very well-organized society, with roads all over the territory, with people running with messages from one station to another station, because they didn't have animals like in Europe or Asia, so they were running everywhere. And this civilization was very high, but then of course it was totally destroyed by Spaniards. And one in my trip was 2017, when somehow I came there and I was lucky to take part in this. We were supposed to see one of the most important discoveries of the 21st century.
When he brought it out and pulled it out of the box, it was a stunned silence at first.
It was prepared mummy. The size of this humanoid was 168 centimeters. It's practically my size. It's a bit shorter. So it means that this was a person who was walking as we do, who was able to move hands as we have, with long legs. So proportion of the body was very similar to ours.
Where is your
it
speaker?
Is authentic
Here is
hand
the speaker, here.
with 3
Here is
long
the speaker.
fingers, very long.
The 3 fingers Sound.
Okay, okay, doesn't matter. Now it's sound is myself. Okay, yes. So you see, this is our first mummy that we was presented, and I was lucky to be in the team of first European or American people who was able to see it. This team was organized by Gaia company, and the story was as follows. It was one Peruvian guy, local guy, who found cave with this type of mummies. And he was cave robber, because it's typical profession in Peru, very typical. And he decided to find out where to sell it. And he found Jaime Maussan, this is journalist from Mexico, from Mexico, who ran a TV program about UFO. He's very popular in all Mesoamerica, very popular, very nice guy, very clever guy, of course. And he contacted Jaime Maussan. Jaime Maussan contacted my friend from the owner of Gaia company in the United States. And my friend decided to pay money for all this process. So we came there, we were presented with this mummy, and you see 3 long fingers, 3 long toes, and it was several scientists. So I was able to take samples from inside the mummy, and then I was able to organize research in Russia, both DNA research, sample research, and later it was done MRI of this mummy, and we were able to study this MRI. And it's all in Nazca area. You know, Nazca, it is very popular plateau with geoglyphs of huge size, but now it is found a lot of geoglyphs all over the area. So not only on this plateau, but in different hills. So it's clear that for them they created this, and you know, from the earth you see nothing, just lines. Only from the air you can see it. So it's one of the enigmas. And as I've told you, it was done MRI of this mummy. We were able to see all internal organs. So her internal condition was practically same as us, and it was very well kept, because in this area they had last rain about 3,000 years ago. So those are mountains, no vegetation at all. At one time I was with my friend, we were taken to this cave, but only to one of the caves, because we know that this guy he has several caves with mummies. Now he sells these mummies, and you can buy it if you want. I have this contact. And with MRI, it was possible to make all detailed analysis of inner structure, both internal organs, then bones, spine, head. So it was absolutely very detailed analysis. Was done by one professor from our university, and it was clear that it's not a fake, it's not a doll. It is a real mummy of real person. And you see, it's a big difference between mummification in Egypt. In Egypt, they extracted our organ systems, then they put body in special liquids, and it took them many, many years. In Peru, in Mexico, it is natural process of mummification. In Mexico, in Guadalajara, we go to the Museum of Mummies. So this big museum with natural mummies of different people. They found in somewhere in desert, as usual. So it's natural mummification. So this is typical. And as I've told, it was done a big research, but after some time, we were invited again to Peru, and we were presented these mummies. You see, those are little mummies, like this size. And pay attention to this construction. So this is Alberto, and again on X-ray you can see construction of bones. Of course, it was MRI as well done. And then please pay attention. It is metal clipped inside. So it is it was broken calf, and it was repaired with some metal part. And then pay attention to this. eggs. Eggs inside the body. And again, later on it was proven that those are real eggs. And this mummy was little one of 60 centimeters. Again, 3 fingers, 3 toes, elongated skull, construction of the body totally different from ours, totally different. For example, we have 3 phalanx. They had 4, both Maria and this one. And then in 2018 we came with my colleague Professor Galitsky to this mountain. He took us to this cave, and I was able to come inside the cave. He demonstrated how it was there. And if you pay attention, there are no vegetation at all in those mountains. No grass, nothing, even no cactus. So it's totally, and of course they had a big Mayan temple at the top. So this guy, local guy, he was coming there and he found those caves. And then he presented us to 2 new mummies, these 2. So altogether I kept in my hands 6 of them, little ones. And now we've been with my wife in Mexico, in private houses, private collections. They have their own mummies. So he sells this. So he has big amount. Just recently it was new mummy, like big size, like Maria as well, rebuilt. And you see, it's all couples. And all female, they all had this belly with eggs, all of them. Very strange skull, of course. Different type. They don't have. They have mouths, but they don't have teeth. They have only some type of like no teeth, but so they can't chew, but they can only suck. So that's totally different from anything. And those are eggs, you see. And DNA study. So DNA study was done in Russia, in Canada, in Mexico, in the United States, and we exchange our data altogether. So this paper was published in Spanish. We have our papers in English. And it was found that Maria, she has human-like DNA. So she is sapiens. You understand? Sapiens. But now they can compare DNA of this particular person with all database of DNA of the world. And it was found no correlation. So she doesn't belong to any race or any nation. She is sapiens, but different. When we did DNA of this little stuff, then it was no correlation at all with nothing. So it was done analysis, comparison with, of course, humans, animals, all the possible animals, butterflies, worms, bacteria, no correlation. So their DNA is totally different from anything. So, and you see most of DNA, 76%, is unclassified. So it was, some of them, it's possible to attribute to something, but most of them totally different. So it's, again, it means that they can, some parts of DNA, some genes, they can attribute to some, for example, bacteria. Yes. Yes. Yes, so it is mathematical process how they, this special, now they have special mathematical genetics. So those are guys who sit with very powerful computers, it's not laptops, they have huge computers, really big, and it takes a lot of time to make this analysis, several days. In our case it was 3 months to make this. But we have same results with our analysis, with Canada analysis, very similar. So, idea is as follows. Who they are, mummies of Nazca. So we have 2 types, big mummies and little mummies. And now we know, very well accepted in science, 3 types of Homo sapiens. Some Homo sapiens neanderthalis, sapiens sapiens, ourselves, and sapiens denisovans. So it's very well known and well accepted in science. So, of course, why not to decide that it was another type, Homo Nazca? So it was just another line. And this line existed for some time, of course, only maybe in this area, but again, this area is very enigmatic. No ideas why they have these geoglyphs. No ideas. They have a lot of ceramics from Nazca civilization, a lot of tapestry, but no ideas still. And of course, if we go to this, then it's another question. The only real solution that maybe it's a type of dinosaurs. Because when we think about dinosaurs, we see this picture. It's typical from all our imagination, from all the movies. But in reality, it was little dinosaurs, tiny ones. And they are known as well. And of course, science knows maybe hundreds of types of dinosaurs, maybe thousands, but not all of them. Because only in some areas it's possible to find fossils. But if it was Africa or South America, then no fossils. It's impossible to find anything. That is why not? Maybe it was some type of creatures, dinosaurs type, because we don't have DNA of dinosaurs. It's impossible to get it. So why not? Maybe it was like these creatures. So this is the only normal explanation. And I have book on this topic, The Mysterious Mummies of Nazca. It is in English, Russian, and Spanish. And you can find this book on Amazon, where I describe all this story. Second part of the book, those are results of analysis, DNA, MRI, with detailed description of the professionals. So this is very good description. And why it is important for us? Of course, it's very interesting topic by itself, but why? Because it shows us that what we know about history is just a little part of reality. Little part. And what's accepted as historical development is only last little part. Because, you see, human beings, sapiens, like we are, exist for at least for 400,000 years. 400, 300,000, it's different discussion, but doesn't matter. And only 10,000 years of civilization. So you see how it's possible. So what people did all this time before. Because now it is absolutely clear when people create civilization, when they can gather together. Only when it is possible to create big groups of people, then they create civilization. But in all those time, it was many options to do it. And if we look to objects from Nazca civilization, they have many ceramics, they have many tapestry, and it was my own picture from museum, from Cusco. You see, 3 fingers. Very typical. It's on display in museum. Nobody pay attention. It's 3 fingers. 3 fingers. Many tapestry, again, from museum. Very, very typical. So they knew this. So it means that in Nazca civilization, those creatures, they lived together with them. And for them, it was just a part of their life. Another interesting topic. I mentioned you that they all had elongated skull, much different from our skull. And now again, you go to Peru, you see many elongated skulls on display. There are many museums, you can go there, and you can see this type of skulls. So again, this type, that type, and very interesting hole, again. So some of the skulls, they have this type of holes. I don't know whether it's bullet or just somehow. We don't know, of course. But very precise hole. And it's not the only case. It's many cases of this kind. And there are hundreds of them on display. You can go to the museum. You can see this. And I've been there in these museums. So it's very well known. in Peru, in Mexico, those people with elongated skulls. And it was not only in this area. You know, Egypt, very famous sculpture, elongated skull. Another, Egypt, again, elongated skull. So, very well known in Egypt. Funny story. Elongated skull child, 2000 years old, skeleton in Crimea. It's part of Russian territory now. You see? So, because of course many civilizations, they artificially created elongated skulls for children. It was very typical tradition. But it is possible to see the difference between real elongated skull and artificial. We can define this difference. And by this, it's absolutely clear that it was natural. And same in China. Big, you see, very typical for Chinese holy people. These elders, they all had elongated skulls. So that's why this is very well known. But what's interesting, you see, this book was published by the curator of the British Museum. They did big excavations in Stonehenge, and they found the area, the layer where it was big fight, where it was big fire, and a lot of people with elongated skull who was killed. So it was impression that was some ruling type of people with these elongated skulls and other population around. And at some moment it was revolt, it was revolution, and they all was killed. So this is from British Museum. Another topic, very enigmatic some constructions. This is again Peru. Please pay attention to these slabs. How they're done. It's a big enigma because it's not just big, but they are very, they come inside to each other. And they stay for 2000 years without any problems, with all earthquakes, because they are so precisely without any cement. And they so precise come to each other. And when one archaeologist tried to restore one of the wall, they failed. It fell off. So same type of, we have in Hittite Empire, same type of, you see. In Bolivia, we have very enigmatic blocks in Pumapunku, and many and very enigmatic constructions. In Turkey, we have Göbekli Tepe, again. Now they consider it maybe it's the oldest city in the world, 10,000 years or even more. In Pacific, on little island, they have this huge underwater harbor. Tiny island, but huge harbor, created with big stone blocks. Why? Not at all about Pacific islands, Easter Islands. So this is so many, there are many of them. Sam can tell you many stories about this. He has been to many places of this kind. And worldwide tunnels in cities. Not just tunnels, cities. We know now that practically all over Mesoamerica, they had these tunnels, underground tunnels. In Europe, now they found a lot of tunnels. They close it because it's dangerous for people to come there. They are lost there. And we've been in many of these tunnels. So you see it's on Malta, very big underground constructions. In Turkey, Derinkuyu, we've been there. It is a whole city. And when they tell, oh, people was hiding there because of invaders. Total nonsense. Total nonsense, you see. You can hide in some cave, but you would never create the whole city with many, about 6 or 7 levels. And it was an evaluation, it was thousands of people living there, underground. Why? Okay, so we have some ideas. And so So this is we've been there. And on the Giza plateau, they have huge caves and it's not just cave, you see. It is very interesting construction. They have two chambers, second chamber and lower chamber with a lake. And in those chambers, they have, again, cameras with huge granite boxes. Same as in Saqqara, very similar. Now it is closed for tourists. We were trying to buy this permit, but we failed. But it is, again, they have it. It was, we don't know whether it is artificial or it was natural and then reconstructed, but it is under Giza. And again, it is known for archaeologists that it was not only this one. There are many tunnels under Giza, and they're all closed by the government, and the government totally denied it. It was published in 1926 by top-level British archaeologists, but then it was closed and denied. Doesn't exist. So, another topic, those are forbidden collections. Again, I was lucky to visit many collections in the world where there are very strange subjects. This is very well-known Ica stones. In Peru, huge collection with thousands of stones. Some of them was found together with archaeologists. They dig, and archaeologists was able to take these stones. So it is clear it's not because they claim, oh, it's all done by people. No, of course not. What for? They don't sell it. You can't buy it. It's in the museum. And some of them little, some of them big, and a lot of drawings. And you can see surgical operations, heart operations. You can see people who look to stars with a tube. And you can see different dragons and people riding on dragons. That's why archaeologists tell, oh, it's total nonsense, it's impossible. Because there are stones with just depictions of everyday life, many stones, and many stones with dragons. So it's one of the story. And another, this is from private collections. I've been invited to one collection in Mexico, several collections in the United States. There are many people who collect this. Again, it's clear, it is ancient artifacts with some writings, and totally unknown to us language. Like these little ones, big ones, different. You see like this, with very interesting drawings. And of course, this looks like Mayan drawings, but totally enigmatic, totally different from Mayan, because we know Mayan, it is Mayan writings, they were declassified by Knorozov, Professor Knorozov from St. Petersburg. He was able to, to read Mayan hieroglyphs. And now it's possible to read it. But this is different, totally different. And like this, you see, again, pictures, the whole letter. But what is this? We don't know. Like this, and some of them are very little. So, what does it mean? Now let me show you another graph. This is Ice Age in human history. Thousands of years ago, you see. And you see, up and down, up and down. It's very typical for the Earth to have these cycles. They tell, oh, this is total global warming, we all die, let's stop this, let's stop that. Total nonsense. Human activity has nothing to do with global warming. It is natural geophysical process. It depends on precision of the Earth and our change of our position to the sun. That's why we had cold time in 20th century. In mid-20th century, it was very cold, during the World War II. And now we have warm time. And I remember when I was young. It was very cold winters. It was -30. It was very difficult. -35 in St. Petersburg. Now we have warm time, of course. So it's cycle like this. And typical picture from book. Look to this picture. You know this guy, mammoth. Do you know that these mammoths need 1 ton of grass per day? 1 ton. Where's the grass? How is it possible to survive? Total nonsense. It means it was totally different story. The story was as follows. It was huge glacier, but just nearby the glacier it was prosperous areas, because glacier it's water. It's a lot of water. And water, it gives grass. Grass was, and it was huge plains with big grass. That's why all those animals, they were able to live there. And they were huge. Why huge? It's another story. We believe that it was different gravitational force by that time. It changed as well, as we discussed. You know this story. So, but it is absolutely clear. It was glacier in the northern part of the world, but all other parts of the world was in totally prosperous situation. In Sahara, it was plains with many animals. It was no deserts by that time in Africa. It was prosperous situations. And of course, it was the best situation for the development of civilization, of humankind. Because humankind, they were very active by that time. You see, this was about 30,000 years ago. It was over 40,000 years ago, and humans was 400,000. And of course, absolutely clear that it was the best situation for the development. And now we know that by that time ocean level was more than 100 meters below. What does it mean? It means a lot of ice was coming out. And what we have now, like islands, it was big territory. And of course, it was underwater continents. Now we have new line like underwater archaeology. But now they can do only little, about 30 meters. Below it's much below it's impossible, because with balloons you can go 30, 40, but not more than that. With dark equipment, you need some special system, some special underwater devices, but you know it's very complicated. The last crash that we know, it was half a year ago, it was demonstrated. It's very difficult. And we send rockets to the moon, we send rockets to universe, but we don't send anything in the underwater. Nobody is interested. You see? It's not nonsense, total nonsense. We are all dependent on the ocean. We're dependent on the water. We're dependent on these resources. But nobody pay attention. So it was only enthusiasts like Cameron who made this movie, and then he created submarine, and he was studying by himself on his own money. And Jacques Cousteau, who again, he was enthusiastic, and he was always looking for money, for grants, because he didn't have no support at all. You see, so we are absolutely sure that underwater we can find a lot. Very well known, of course, in Japan, underwater these constructions, they are very well known, but of course I'm sure, we discussed with Sam, that in many areas of our ocean we can find some underwater constructions. And it is very well known that around 12,900 years ago, it was a big comet coming to the Earth. It is proven. It's proven by geologists. And it was big comet. It has big impact. And this now it's the whole area with a big hole in Mexican Gulf. The whole Gulf was created. And what does it mean? It means that it was huge effect on all the Earth, because a lot of debris came in the air, and for several years, maybe decades, sky was totally covered from sun. And you know, it was like effect like in warm house, because you have sun coming still with energy, but it's closed. No sun, no open sky, but warmer and warmer and warmer. And this created, as scientists believe now, to the melting of the last glacier. And you can imagine what does it mean. It was huge, huge waves coming in a very short time. And of course, those huge waves was coming to continents 100 meters higher and higher and higher, and all the continents became underwater. So if it was civilization there, they became underwater. And it's absolutely clear like this. Now we have this, so it may happen again. And we have many ancient civilizations who have this idea of Noah, of some people who was able to survive, and we understand it was possible. If it's high civilization, that they had some ships, they were able to come around the world, and some civilization died, but many people survived. So it's quite possible as well. And those people was coming to different tribes, wild tribes, and they were trying to bring them civilization. Because again, it is very well known in science that all over the world, in very short time, they started agriculture. And they thought, oh, it became people very happy. No, of course not. Because happy life, it's wild life, like Indians in North America. Wild tribe, they go from one place to another place, they have happy life, very organized life, they have meat, animals, grass, everything. Same, for example, for Mongolian tribes. When Genghis Khan was able to combine, to organize huge tribes from Mongolia, again, they had happy life before that. And they were fighting with each other all the time, of course, but it was just sparrows and very simple fight. So it means that people much more happier when they live simple life, natural life. When they go to agriculture, they have a lot of troubles. 1 year you have good agriculture, next year you have bad. 1 year you have crops, other way you have nothing. Same with animals, with everything. And then civilization is going, so you have taxes, you have people, you have bureaucracy, everything. So you see, it's not happy life. We know this. You need to survive somehow. So it means, but again, this civilization started in practically same time worldwide. What does it mean? We believe with Sam, with other scientists as well, that it was previous civilizations, very high level previous civilizations. And those civilizations, they created pyramids, they brought technology to do it. Of course, it was local people who did it, but technology was from ancient times. Same in Peru, again, and all those many nations, they have legend about some God coming to them and giving them everything. We know, we have this everything. In Greek mythology, we have Quetzalcoatl. In Mexico, we have all over the world, like someone coming. And we believe it was people coming. So, of course, there are the whole line who believe those are aliens. Of course, why not? But again, if it's aliens, where do we have spaceships? Never ever, nobody was able to find any parts of spaceship, any crash of spaceship. So, of course, if you believe in aliens, it's up to you. But our idea is different. Our idea that pyramids are scientific instruments for communication with other civilizations in the universe. Informational exchange without time. Because from our understanding of physics, it is impossible to travel in a physical body. Impossible for long distance to other universe, for example. But information, no problem. You can send immediately. Plus, you know that now we have this idea of connected particles in quantum physics. Again, it's another story. But information is information. And I've been able to meet several people who claim that they've been abducted, but they wasn't taken by physical body. They were laying on the bed, but they had total impression that they are traveling somewhere. Same, we have a lot of cases with people who are in near-death condition. Again, they travel in their mind, not physical body. Another very interesting story. Our Russian astronauts who spent long time on our orbital station, more than 200 days, when they retired, they start talking that after 200 days they start seeing visions. Visions of other civilizations, of other beings communicating with them, of some interesting images, of some information they were able to communicate with them. So that's possible. If you look to Gaia site, gaia.tv, then you can find some interview with this type of people who claim that they've been abducted, and they tell us very funny story, very interesting stories. So that is, what does it mean? It means that some previous civilizations, they had technology to communicate with other universe. And all the pyramids, those are technology. Very complicated technology. Why they block Bluetooth? Technology. Why they make these shafts with nothing inside? Technology. Why they make this sakura with these chambers? Again, technology. So, and it looks like antenna, yes? It looks like antenna. It was very clever when you told us. So, and that's why we believe that all these subjects here in this territory, they have different role. I think that maybe moon pyramid, it's just reflector. That's why you've seen from my measurements, it was very interesting that I had very high measured energy in different layers of moon pyramid, on different layers, but the energy was high everywhere. It's different from sun pyramid, because on sun pyramid was higher, higher, and higher, and highest at the top. So maybe it was different devices. One for sending, another as a reflector. Same tumulus, again another device. It's not very big, but still it's different, totally different energy. And our colleagues was able to take measurements of many parameters. So now we can, as scientists, we can only take some measurements, and we can guess. But let's imagine a very simple story. Let's imagine that some aliens from space, they come here, and they come to a big TV antenna. They measure different parameters, they measure different waves, frequencies, but they have no idea what it's for. If our civilization lost, they see only something. Same here. We can only guess, and our guess altogether that this is device. And I believe now that in this area of Bosnian Pyramids, we have a set of very complex systems that designed for intergalactic communication, and previous civilizations, they were able to use it for this. Of course, when they was gone, then, and of course another story, that we have pyramids worldwide. And it was some period of time when civilization built pyramids. It was, again, before known to us historical periods, long before. Because other, we know Greek civilization, we know Sumer civilization, we know Egyptian civilization, they never mentioned pyramids. Of course, in Egypt, they've told it's tombs, but only the oldest dynasty, they built pyramids. Later on, it was gone. And they put underground, you know, that Valley of Kings, underground, big chambers to bury their mummies. That is why, to my mind, we need to collect information. Sam is very brave to make what he is doing. And he is great by collecting scientists. And I ask you, everybody, all scientists, okay, let us have our information published. Because books, it's good. Website is good, but it's not really scientific. It's not information that we can present to scientific community. Only if we have it published in peer-reviewed journals, then we may have it real science. And now we have many journals that can accept. I'm in the board of several journals, and they would be happy to accept it if we prepare this really scientific paper. Of course, most of journals, like top level, they reject it immediately. They told it's all nonsense, but we have options. So that is why let's combine together. Let's combine our information and let's make it published. And it will give us next level to what Sam is doing, because he is great, he's fantastic, but he has only 2 hands, you see, and only 10 fingers. Not 6, but 10. Okay, thank you very much for attention. So if you have questions, I'm ready to answer some, at least some. Couple of questions. Sorry? Joules? Joules? Yes, joules.
So, Dr. Korotkov, what is your opinion, personal opinion, on dinosaurs versus dragons?
Why not?
What is your opinion on dinosaurs versus dragons? I've heard stories that.
No, you see, dinosaurs, it's.
Construction that it was actually dragons.
No, you see, what does mean dragon? Dragon is the dinosaur that was found by medieval time. Because it's absolutely clear, a lot of big lizards, they survived and we have now in Komodo Island, we have big lizards, huge lizards. So it was dragons, because it was big knights who was coming there and killing poor animals, of course. And those animals, they may be dangerous, because you know, they are carnivores, they eat meat. And in the Komodo Islands, you should be very careful, because they hunt deers, and they can hunt people as well. So it's for me, it's absolutely clear. Dragons, those are just dinosaurs.
There was like human race at the same time, not like
You see, this big question. We have these Inca stones, many images, but why? Maybe they existed by that time. Maybe not. Who knows? Maybe it was just imagination. Why not?
So if all of these cultures are talking about the beings, the gods, right, coming down, right? Indian mythology is Varanas, and they describe even the devices that they've been flying on, right? And if we have mummies like this that just look like aliens, all right? I mean, if there was a picture of an alien, it would, you would think of something like that. And if we've been, or if our ancients have been establishing communication with other civilizations, then there seems to be everything together to have those beings visited.
Okay, again, I'm physicist. I know some physical laws that it is proven. And one of the law that in physical body, you can't travel big distances, maybe in sleep condition, maybe another story, that you know that in Ivch's scripts, it is very well known. It was one rulers of gods, and everyone ruled 10,000 years. Yes, 1,000 years. Then it was semi-gods. They ruled 300-400 years. Then it was just people. So, absolutely, why not? Maybe it was some gods, maybe aliens coming here. Why not? More than that, I had very interesting discussion with several American astronauts who've been on the moon, and they've told that they've seen aliens on the moon. They had this communication, and they see that they believe that there are some aliens living between us. But we are in kindergarten state. We are so primitive civilization still.
Yes.
That's why for them it's not interesting. They watch us, they supervise us, but for them what for? To communicate with us. They give us something and we immediately make weapon.
Right.
Immediately.
Doctor, you mentioned crop circles. Is that something, the technology that's used to make crop circles, is that something that is here on this planet and this Earth, or do you think it's from?
With crop circles I have clear idea. To me, I have idea that it is exercises of students. Of 28th century. Because from known to us physical law, it is possible to send information in the past. We can see past. Look to the sky at night. What you see? You see past. So, same way. If, or let's imagine, you travel from the Earth and you see same picture of the past. So, that is why we think that it's possible to make some instrument that will send some information to the past. This information creates vortex of wind, of air, and this creates crop circles. And maybe it is some information holes, because we know that there are in some areas. In Britain, it is just the area of Southampton. They have big area and there are many crop circles. Every year they have crop circles. Nobody pay attention to this. There are some group of scientists, they study this with different instruments. It's clear that something special, but nobody is interested anymore. But they are very clear patterns, fractal patterns. So for me, it is information sent from the future. Okay? Okay.
What devices from your line would you recommend just for regular users?
Okay, I recommend you buy Well Mini. This little device that I use with my measurement, and we put this on sale in October. And this is really very good because it operates on mobile phone. It's very reliable. I dropped it down several times and it's okay. Still, I work with this for a couple of years. Now we put this on production line and we are preparing this production because it's not only production, certification, many official stories, so it's a longer line. But we, in October, and it's very good for everybody. And BioCore as well, BioCore, it's an excellent device, brilliant, brilliant. I developed several another devices for magnetic therapy, light therapy, but still we are working with marketing. We have another company in the United States with my friend. We plan to move from there, a water filtering system with magnetic fields as well, but it's still in the process of marketing, developing, so maybe in a couple of years, or 1 year, a couple of years, it will be ready.
Could you please remind when will be this conference about water in Portugal?
It will be October 15, 19 in Lisbon. Yeah, and you are very welcome. It will be very interesting because it's led by Jerry Pollock. He's a wonderful person, a dear friend. Yes, yes, yes. You should come. You should come. Yes, yes, yes. I have my presentation the first day after the opening, and I will be there for several days. And it's brilliant scientists coming there from the United States, from Europe. I know many of them. They are all brilliant, really. Okay.
Thank you. What does Sputnik measure? What kind of energy? Is that magnetic energy?
No. You see, a Sputnik based on the principle of, you see, do you know about LIDAR? LIDAR, it's a device where they send laser beam and they have reflection. Same principle here. We send electromagnetic fields, standing waves. Like on the sea, you have one wave it coming through the sea. Same here. It's not like sequence. It's like a sinusoidal or some sequences. So it's just impulse, then time, another impulse. Of course, it's high frequency, but still. And then we measure response from the system. So it's same principle, sending signal and measuring response.
And the response is magnetic and electric?
No. We are measuring in technical way. We are measuring photons coming from the metal cylinder.
How does the standing wave gets created?
By just applying impulse, short impulse to this antenna.
But if it's in a room, then it will depend on the size of the
Yes,
room.
of course. It depends on the size of the room. It depends on construction of walls in the room.
But it always finds, you can always find the appropriate distance.
You see, it's the same as sound.
Right.
Sound in different rooms, you have different response of sound. In theater, they have special construction of the building in theater hall to have good sound, not to have reverberation. Yes? Same here, same principle. In the room, we are measuring one signal. In the outside, we measure different signal. That's why we use it, for example, for people if they have territory and they look where to put their building. We take measurements on the map along this territory. It takes half a day maybe. And then we can, okay, this is good place, this is bad place. This is good. And then, of course, it's good if you can douse water as well, and you can find water. So it's very good. Same in apartment as well. You can find, you go to apartment, you take measurements in different parts of the apartment, and you see where it's good, where it's bad. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.